Imagine a young man of 20 sitting in a small, cramped printing shop in Philadelphia in the year 1726. He is not a nobleman, nor does he come from a family of wealth. He is a man of strong appetites, a sharp tongue, and a wandering focus. He looks at his reflection in a polished plate of lead and realizes a hard truth. If he continues to live by impulse, he will remain a servant to his circumstances. He decides then and there to embark on what he calls a bold and arduous project of arriving at moral perfection. He doesn't seek a miracle. He seeks a system. This man was Benjamin Franklin, before he was a founding father, a world-renowned scientist, or the face on the $100 bill. He was a student of his own character. Franklin understood that mastery is not something you are born with, but something you build through discipline. He realized that most people fail in life, not because they lack talent, but because they lack a blueprint. His solution was the creation of 13 virtues, a structured path to transform a chaotic mind into a powerful instrument of change. His story is a guide for anyone today who feels scattered, overwhelmed, or out of control. Franklin's genius was in his practicality. He didn't try to change everything at once, which is the mistake most of us make on New Year's Day. Instead, he decided to focus on one virtue at a time. He made a little book with a page for each virtue, divided into 7 columns for the days of the week. Every evening, he would examine his day and mark a small black spot for every fault committed regarding that week's focus. He was practicing self-observation with the precision of a scientist. He knew that you cannot manage what you do not measure. The first virtue on his list was temperance, eating and drinking not to dullness or elevation. He knew that without physical control, the mind could never be clear. Next came silence. He resolved to speak only what might benefit others or himself, avoiding trifling conversation. This is a profound form of healing for our modern age of digital noise. Franklin understood that every word we speak uses energy, and that silence allows us to listen to the deeper truths of our own hearts. By controlling his tongue, he gained power over his environment. One of his most difficult virtues was order, letting all your things have their places, and each part of your business have its time. Franklin struggled with this his entire life. He was naturally messy and spontaneous, but he realized that anxiety often stems from a lack of structure. When our external world is in chaos, our internal world follows. By striving for order, he was creating a sanctuary for his focus. He also prioritized resolution, the determination to perform what you ought, and to perform without fail what you resolve. This is the bedrock of fortitude. It is the promise you make to yourself that you will not be a victim of your own laziness. Franklin also included virtues like frugality, industry, and sincerity. He believed that financial independence was a prerequisite for moral independence. If you owe another man money, you often owe him your integrity as well. He worked tirelessly not just for profit, but for the mastery of his craft. He avoided the trap of perfectionism through a famous story he told about a speckled axe. A man wanted his axe head to be as bright as the edge, but the labor of grinding it was too much. He eventually decided that a speckled axe was best. Franklin used this to teach us that while we strive for the heights, we must accept our human limitations with grace. A speckled life is still a life of progress. The final virtue, he added, at the suggestion of a friend who pointed out his pride, was humility. Franklin found this the hardest to master. He remarked that even if he could conceive that he had completely overcome pride, he would probably be proud of his humility. Yet, he practiced the detachment required to admit he was wrong. He stopped using words like certainly or undoubtedly and replaced them with I conceive or I imagine. This small shift in language opened the doors to massive diplomatic success later in his life. It was tranquility in action, the refusal to be disturbed by trifles or common accidents. Why does this 18th century chart matter to us now? Because we live in a world designed to distract us and strip us of our autonomy. We are told that our happiness depends on what we buy or how others perceive us. Franklin's 13 virtues remind us that true happiness is an internal achievement. It is the result of discipline and the constant effort to align our actions with our values. When you take control of your habits, you take control of your destiny. To find your own mastery today, you don't need to be perfect. You just need a blueprint. Pick one area of your life this week. Perhaps it is silence, or order, or resolution. Focus on it. Watch yourself. Be honest with your observations. Do not be discouraged by the black spots in your book. See them as markers of where your growth is happening. Take a deep breath. Realize that you are a work in progress. Your character is not a fixed stone. It is a garden that requires daily industry. You have the power to weed out the habits that drain you and plant the virtues that sustain you. Like Franklin, you can move from a state of impulse to a state of sovereignty. You are the architect of your own soul. Build it with intention, build it with order, build it with the quiet strength of a disciplined life.